Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Just 2 rounds remain and the Drivers' Championship is already wrapped up. Max Verstappen clinched his 4th consecutive world title with only an 8th place result in Las Vegas, but Charles Leclerc couldn't manage a single point. He ended up P11. As you see the current R&D coming to this weekend. We had big news this weekend as well. We have the announcement of an 11th team in Formula 1 coming in Season 3, not even Season 2. Cadillac General Motors will be on the grid in Season 3 as the 11th team in Formula 1. So that means we still have to get through all of Season 2 before we see their presence come into this career mode. But that's going to be very exciting, of course, in line with real life is how I wanted to do that move. So it was announced this weekend. Very exciting to have over a season now to, of course, build up their team and get themselves into a proper position now. So a new North American team coming onto the grid. Going to be very exciting. Of course, as a North American driver, could we maybe be linked into the future going to that brand new startup team that's going to have a lot of backing behind it. 2026 Season 3 of this career mode is going to be really exciting. Of course, we're not really too concerned with it right now because we have all of Season 2 to worry about beforehand. Of course, a lot of silly season stuff has been determined right now. The only thing really up in question at this point is what's going to happen with Red Bull and Sergio Perez's seat. Of course, we know that last episode Red Bull presented him, a situation that if you didn't perform in Vegas, you were out for the final 2 races. Well, he ended up performing well in Las Vegas, doing what he needed to do. Meanwhile, Verstappen actually dropped the ball a little bit, and of course Red Bull still did enough to manage their constructors gap over Ferrari now, as today is the telltale episode of what's going to happen setting up for that season finale in Abu Dhabi. Ferrari needs to find, I would say, a minimum of 20 points over Red Bull today to have a realistic chance going into Abu Dhabi to still win the Constructors' Championships. Now, it's going to be really exciting to watch, to say the least, and it all starts today with getting a good qualifying effort. Now, for me, we are going to be starting from the back no matter what. We have actually, after last episode's failure in Las Vegas, embarrassing drive, we were a little bit down on power with the engine. Honestly, it lacked more pace than I thought we were going to lack. We have completely replaced the engine. We have a brand new engine in the car, which means we are taking a lot of grid penalties. My first lap of Q1 was a disaster. Of course, it always seems to go that way. Qatar is very difficult with track limits. You got to be right on the fine line. Overstepping your boundary by, a few centimeters, you're going to invalidate your lap time. So my second lap here was where all the money was in Q number 1. Now, this is actually the same run, same set of tires. I just went for a slow lap and got back going after I invalidated my time. We're going to head down this run straight away with the rear wing open to the stripe. We go. P4 on the grid. How about that? I wouldn't make another lap and it still would be enough. We go P10 and P12 for Williams. Very happy with the pace there. Still, even though we're starting in the back, want to put in the best effort we can in qualifying. Liam Lawson, Ocon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, and Casper Ackerman in the cut, the bottom 5 there. Of course, Ackerman, only a couple of Grand Prix remaining for him in his career. My first lap in Q2, we do the same thing. We invalidate. We would have to make a second lap after as well, repairing some underbody damage. My second lap, I would invalidate. It would come down to a third lap after running slow for a lap, getting back going. We had less than a minute remaining. All the money is right here. I don't think we have the speed to be in the top 10 when it comes down to it. Now, Q1, of course, we were P10, but now everyone's going to be pushing even harder. I don't think this Williams is quite where it needs to be this weekend to be inside the top 10. Albon has already run his lap. He's 13th. He just let me go, actually, in the last half of this lap. I think we can beat Alex, but I think it's going to be close. Now, through the final turn, down the front straightaway, we'll get that rear wing open again to the line. I don't think it's going to be enough for Q3. Lance Stroll currently P11. It's going to be P13 for us and P14 for Albon. So just a bit shy by a few tenths of making it to Q3, but very close on pace with our teammate of Alex Albon. Perez at the top. We'll see where he starts heading into the Qatar Grand Prix.
Welcome back to Qatar and the Lateral International Circuit, a track that has a long history for two-wheeled motorsport action. But tonight it's the four wheels of F1 that are back, and Lewis Hamilton going for another win here. So we're back here in Lateral, and this is the track map. 3.34 miles, 16 turns, and just one DRS zone out of turn 16. It's already a fast and flowing track after all. There's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS though, through the long straight and into turn 1. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Gasly, Stroll, Albon, Sainz, Butler, Verstappen, Liam Lawson, Ocon, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Ackerman, Norris, Tsunoda, Russell and Golden Boy. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
We have some drivers taking grid penalties, not only myself. One stop strategy we're going for today, starting on mediums, going onto the hards. 2 stops have been popular lately, only one today. Let's get ready to roll.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
Sergio Perez has stepped his game up again, P3. Meanwhile, Verstappen, P11, with a grid penalty here as we get ready to roll. What can the Red Bulls do against the Ferraris to defend their Constructors' title?
We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Good luck tonight, Gary, and be patient. We've got a good points buffer to work with.
Yeah, thank you, James. I'll be patient, and we'll work our way forward, so hopefully we can finish in the points. So starting, of course, from the back of the grid, we've got George Russell back here with us as well. I'm sure he's really just fully focused now on Season 2 at this point. He took a fight to Verstappen early on in the season, but it was pretty short-lived, and of course it's ending up with Leclerc and Sainz, you know, the top 2 drivers behind Verstappen in the standing signs, heading to Aston Martin next season. We learned very recently as we get ready to go racing. 29 laps of racing here from Qatar. It's lights out. We're underway here from Qatar. Norris back here with a grid penalty as well. Tsunoda covers us off immediately into turn 1. Lewis Hamilton over Leclerc. Perez trying to go around the outside. You got the pair of Aston Martins up there in the mix. Oscar Piastri, winner last time out in Las Vegas. Watch out for him here tonight. Now he is really turning into a superstar, a young superstar of Formula 1 in, well, not only real life, but here in the career mode as well. I'm excited to see what he and McLaren can do next season in this career mode now, as we continue to see different winners, just like we've seen in 2024 IRL. We've had Verstappen win, Perez, of course, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, George Russell, Charles Leclerc. That's 7 different winners right there now as we are taking the fight to the Japanese driver of Yuki Tsunoda, still in question of, will he get that Red Bull seat over Perez or not? Will it go to Liam Lawson? It's really going to be interesting to watch how these next 2 races play out between him and Lawson, because I think it's all but confirmed Perez will be out of that Red Bull, even if he can go win the next 2 races. Honestly, at this point, he lacks so much consistency throughout the season, and that is, of course, what Red Bull is after. Now, as we head down the front straightaway to complete lap number 1, we find ourselves only in P19 after starting P20. We've only gained 1 spot. George Russell has done a great job moving his way forward. He's already gained several positions. Meanwhile, Lando Norris, on the other hand, a bit slow to work his way forward as we come to the start of lap 3 now. DRS, of course, enabled, and here goes Norris taking the fight to the Dutchman of Casper Ackerman. Slides across the nose of the Haas there. An easy pass. Now, it was in the news this weekend as well, a little bit under the radar. Haas will be, of course, partnering with Toyota, just like real life in this career mode. Now, as we're going to size up a move on Ackerman, get the overtake done. But yes, Haas will be partnered with Toyota going into next season, so that's going to be very exciting as Toyota is looking to hop on the popular train of joining Formula 1, just like Ford's going to be doing in Season 3, and we now know General Motors with Cadillac is going to be coming in as their own team, as here's Lando Norris now looking to bring the fight to Valtteri Bottas. An easy pass on the Sauber kick car, and Valtteri, of course, in his final couple of races in Formula 1, right to the back up that rear wing, but we would have to follow him for the remainder of the lap. It wasn't until the start of lap 5 here, as we have an opportunity to now overtake Bottas in towards turn number 1. Norris Norris now going for an overtake on Nico Hülkenberg, who heads to the car that we just passed. Next season, he'll be alongside Sebastian Vettel in an all-German lineup on that Kick Sauber team before they switch to Audi now up front. Now starting lap 6, here comes Charles Leclerc looking for the lead of this Grand Prix. Perez not far behind Hamilton, trying to fight back. Near contact there between the two. Leclerc takes the lead of this Grand Prix. As that was happening, now I'm making a move here on the right side of the Haas of Hülkenberg into turn 1. We'll lunge it into the corner. We'll take the position. We slowly follow Lando Norris through the traffic. We're putting up a great pace early on in this Grand Prix, and I do believe we can fight for points here before this Grand Prix is over. Starting the end of lap 6, Norris slides on the exit of the final turn, and now he's vulnerable. He's going to be under attack from myself. Side by side, just ever so slightly, but he's got so much speed in the McLaren. We'll back out of it now, and on the run into turn 1, he goes very defensive. We show the nose, not really going to give much, but now Norris goes wide. He slides, he spins, a self-spin, and nearly collects us in the process. Around Lando Norris goes, and we'll get an onboard replay as he completely chokes, and I mean, my goodness, this went way wide out of turn 1, self-spins out of the corner, nearly collects myself.
Sorry guys, just lost talent there.
You hear Lando Norris on the radio now. Not a mistake you want to see, as he's felt the pressure from his young teammate of Oscar Piastri, bringing the fight to him, winning 3 races this season compared to Norris getting his first career win recently in Qatar. Perez through into P2 as Verstappen only manages P8. My teammate of Alex Albon up inside the points after getting some points last time out as well in Las Vegas. We've now run down Liam Lawson and fellow Rookie of the Year competitor Devin Butler. Lawson will be a full-time rookie next season. We just don't know if it will be with Red Bull or if it will be with that car he's already in the V-Carb. Lawson getting the elbows out now. He is known to be quite aggressive as a rookie, and now he's going to get into the side of Butler. He's going to squeeze him out there. Contact between the two. Butler's not going to take a liking to that. I'm certain of it now. As that was happening, Sergio Perez now bringing the fight to the front of the pack. Sergio Perez of old is back. He takes the lead here in Qatar. What a statement there from Perez now as we're trying to make a move on Devin Butler. We have the slipstream. Actually, we don't have the slipstream. He does, though, from Liam Lawson into turn 1. It goes wide, and now Butler sideswipes him nearly. Near contact there. Butler shoving him out, and Lawson gets the short end of the stick. He drops 2 positions there. Those two getting after it in the last lap. My goodness, Devin Butler, it's a guy you do not want to mess with. We, of course, ran him off track last time out in Las Vegas, but we sorted things out pretty well, and then he had that self-spin at the start of the final lap, and now with the DRS starting at lap 10, we'll be able to get past Devin Butler. We've pretty well wrapped up the Rookie of the Year contention, or championship, I should say. I mean, we will be Rookie of the Year unless Devin Butler maybe goes out and wins next episode. I don't think that's going to happen, but nonetheless, into P13, but Butler was dropping. Lawson got past him, Hülkenberg got past him as well, and he was going to be under pressure soon from Yuki Tsunoda as well. But Sergio Perez in front as we're running down Esteban Ocon. The pit window opens on lap 14, so another lap as Ocon continues just in front of myself, about to be under pressure from myself. Speaking under pressure, Leclerc bringing the fight back to Perez. He's going to put himself in front, fighting directly against the guy he knows he needs to beat tonight. Both Ferraris need to be trying to beat these Red Bulls for the Constructors' battle now, as here we go as well on the run into turn 1. Around the outside of the Frenchman of Ocon will take the position, another spot gained on our climb towards the points. We're up to P12, Gasly and Russell, 2 seconds up the road, 4 seconds up the road there for 11th and 10th place. Russell, obviously we're not going to run him down. He's going to continue to go forwards now. Leclerc is going to box from the lead. Perez will stay out. Hamilton, Alonso as well, all going to come into the pits. Piastri stays out on the racetrack, so Perez and Piastri remain on track, and we'll see how much Leclerc and Hamilton and those guys are going to be able to stretch the gap to Perez once he comes into the pits. Now, I was actually supposed to pit there and forgot. I completely forgot to pit, so Albon's going to be pitting at the conclusion of this lap, which means I'm going to have to stay out an additional lap on top of that. So I'm going to have to run 2 extra laps because I forgot to pit on the lap I was supposed to pit. So we round the final turn, Perez into the pits, Albon into the pits, everybody into the pits. So we're going to have to come through and lead a lap here, which of course that's always great. We lead a lap in Qatar, but of course we are going to lose quite a bit of time now because of my just forgetfulness. So we will be coming into the pits at the conclusion of lap 16. Now up at the front of the race now, Leclerc there, and Hamilton come out way in front of Perez. They go side by side into turn 1 actually, but Leclerc remains in front. Alonso as well gets up in front of Perez. Verstappen right to the back of his teammate Piastri in P7, so Perez loses some track position as Carlos Sainz really needs to step it up late in this race if he wants to help Ferrari score more points than Red Bull tonight right now, because currently it's looking pretty good for Red Bull. Now if Ferrari can cut that gap to about 20 points or so, it's game on in the Constructors' Championship going into Abu Dhabi. We come in for our first and only pit stop, get these mediums off, put a new set of hards on. We, on the bright side, after running 2 additional laps, we can push pretty well as hard as we want for the remainder of this Grand Prix, but we ran more laps on the mediums than we're going to run on the hards. That was a mistake, of course, just by forgetting to pit that first lap and having to run an additional lap. And you see the time we lost. We're down to P16, behind Hülkenberg, Tsunoda as well, guys that we had already passed. We were with Ocon when we pitted, and now he's way ahead of me, as you can see on the track map. The 2 Alpines, Ocon and Gasly, right together. I can confirm, unlike real life, Esteban Ocon will run the final race in Abu Dhabi with Alpine, because I actually have morals, and I thought it was disgusting how Alpine treated Esteban Ocon to finish out this season. As we are reeling in Hülkenberg, we'll pass him with ease probably, but let's go through the grid with 10 laps to go.
Can Lewis Hamilton top Charles Leclerc, or will he hold on in that Ferrari? This is such a crucial amount of points for Leclerc to hold on to. I imagine he will not make this easy for Lewis.
Lewis wants to win though as well. 1 win on the season. He would love to make it 2 and get 1 more with Mercedes. How about Perez in 3rd? Meanwhile, it sounds like Verstappen might have an issue.
Can confirm there is an issue to Verstappen, guys. He reported just a moment ago that he's losing power in his Red Bull. This could surely drop him out of the points, which will be a huge gain for Ferrari.
George Russell has rebounded to 7th as they run, with another spot up for grabs right in front of him with Lance Stroll.
A great run for Lance tonight in his 2nd to last race before he moves out of the seat and into a manager role within that team. Always a well-mannered young man. He will do well with his future career.
Albon and Gasly 10th and 11th, as they are in a fight for the last point available. They might be able to get Alonso, as he is also managing a mechanical issue late in this race.
Then there's this battle here between Lawson and Tsunoda, these 2 going head-to-head for a Red Bull seat. Tsunoda, I am sure, is determined to beat Lawson tonight and next week.
Lawson has shown great pace, but Tsunoda has shown great consistency. Let's wait and see what these last 2 rounds bring for these 2 drivers.
A bright future for both of them.
Ackerman in his final couple of races, unfortunately at the back of the grid. We got past Nico Hülkenberg, and now we're looking to pass Yuki Tsunoda, and I'm sure he is absolutely determined to pass Liam Lawson. Tsunoda has been performing very well recently. These passes for me are quite easy with a couple lap advantage on tires. These guys don't really have a lot for us, so Liam Lawson up next. It's probably not going to take a lot to pass him either. Yellow flags are behind us. It's Valtteri Bottas in the kick Sauber. It's going to be race over for him, unfortunately, now in what is his final couple of races in Formula 1. Just like Casper Ackerman, Bottas is going to have a mechanical failure in his penultimate race. Now, as we round the final turn, no safety car, we will have that DRS from Liam Lawson, and we'll be able to pass him with these as well on the run into turn number 1. So this will put us into P13 as Max Verstappen is down to P11, and I can confirm, I asked on the radio about it, Max Verstappen has a mechanical issue. This is big. Verstappen has an issue, and he was backing up drivers around him, but fighting as hard as he could still, of course, but he's outside of the points. Perez is P3, but Oscar Piastri has run him down and could put him down maybe to 4th, while Leclerc is in position to win, and Sainz is currently in the 5th position. This is interesting. Verstappen, if he doesn't score any points, as we're going to put the fight to Verstappen now, Red Bull could lose a bunch of points to Ferrari going into the season finale. Now we're wheel to wheel with Verstappen. Contact there, the Dutchman not going to make it easy now as he's fighting for absolutely everything, as we are both running down Fernando Alonso, who's all also having a mechanical issue. You saw he exited the pits after the pit stops right with Hamilton in them. Now he's way back here with us. He is also having a mechanical issue. We'll pass him. A huge lunge to the outside of Verstappen. A pass around the outside. He's down on mechanical power, but what a move that was nonetheless. And we'll take the position and continue this march forward in the late laps of this Grand Prix into P11. Ocon 1 second up the road as Verstappen shows a nose, but he can't do anything with it. And now Red Bull is crumbling in this Constructors' Championship. This is turning into a bit of a disaster. Can Perez hold on to a podium? That's the big question now, as we would run down Esteban Ocon with the DRS. Again, we're going to drag race all the way down into turn 1. Into the braking zone, though, we are able to outbrake the Frenchman, move up into the points. Albon 4 seconds up the road. We are quicker than these guys in front of us. Albon, Gasly specifically. I don't think we're going to be able to get to them, but we could probably get close to them now. Lap 25, and we're trying to get out of DRS range of Ocon. Verstappen's not really going anywhere right now. Alonso in P12 just in front of a 13th place Max Verstappen. Now Hamilton is stalking Charles Leclerc, two future teammates of course on the grid next season at Ferrari, and they're both having great runs. Leclerc has stepped it up so much late in the season alongside Ferrari as Oscar Piastri into turn 1 going for a move on Perez, who locks up. Perez loses the position in dramatic fashion. He locks up and misses the apex, and down to 4th he goes. A choke from Perez and a loss of more points for Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship right there. Perez having one of his best races in a long time, but it's not going to be a podium now as he loses a bunch of ground. And Sainz in 5th, Leclerc in P1 is going to have to fight, because here comes Hamilton looking for a move around the outside. Now side by side on the exit of turn number 1. Hamilton, can he get the lead? Leclerc is trying to keep it pinned. Leclerc knows how important these 25 points are to win this Grand Prix in the Constructors' battle. He stays ahead. A clean battle with 2 laps to go between future teammates, a 7-time champion with over 100 wins, and then Charles Leclerc with no championships and only around 10 wins to his name, but still of course a star of the series, a future legend, I'm sure, if he can continue winning races like he's doing late in this season. Albon's been passed by Gasly. I actually just took a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and we're only 2.7 seconds in front of Alonso, so we need to find a few tenths. We would find it over the course of this lap. We would stretch it to 3.4 seconds. 1 lap to go. Leclerc leads, Hamilton not quite able to do much. Piastri's running both of them down in 3rd. Perez will have to settle for 4th. Sainz in 5th as we have a mega slide. Verstappen's back up to 12th and Alonso's up to 11th. They both passed Esteban Ocon as Charles Leclerc around the final turn is going to score 25 much needed points for Ferrari. He'll come through to win in Qatar, but more importantly on top of that, Sainz will get 5 points. So that's going to be 35 points for Ferrari, as Red Bull crumbles. Perez in P4, Verstappen outside of the points. Red Bull is only going to go into the season finale with about a 20-point advantage, with a bit of a disastrous night here from Qatar. Down the front straightaway, it'll be P10. We stay just barely above 3 seconds in front of Alonso. P9, P10, double points finish for the team with Williams. How about that? What a drive through the grid. What a night, guys. Thank you guys for the hard work, everybody at the team. It wasn't easy, but we made our way forward. P9, P10. Great stuff for me and Alex as well.
And here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme after a fantastic race.
Charles Leclerc, another win to his name. Oscar Piastri celebrates with him right there alongside. And of course, Leclerc will be on the podium with Lewis Hamilton, 2 future teammates at Ferrari next season. There is so much to look forward to for Season 2. I mean, of course, we got new liveries on the way. These roster moves, though, is what I'm really looking forward to. The Hamilton-Leclerc pairing, the McLaren pairing as well. Norris and Piastri both are really starting to figure things out. I say that, but Norris self-spun trying to defend against a Williams myself. But, of course, Red Bull, Verstappen, we know has got what he needs. He just needs to, of course, not have mechanical issues. How about Lance Stroll? P6 for Lance Stroll. His season best effort by far, and is his second final race in Formula 1 as a driver. So, of course, it will be the lone Canadian on the grid next season. Verstappen, of course, it doesn't matter about his championship lead. That's already determined now. But the Constructors, there it is. Red Bull, 20 points to margin over Ferrari after a disaster of a race. It's going to be interesting. 20 points. Red Bull has the lead. Will they remain the Constructors leader following Abu Dhabi to win the championship? We'll find out in the season finale. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.